You're good.
Welcome to the Football Forecast Show right here on GITV. I'm your host, Chuck Wegman. I'm here with Buster Crumpton, and we've had Buster pinned up here for 2 weeks. I think he's ready to bust loose. Yeah. So we're going to get right into, Buster, what we got going on here in the football world this week. Of course, the Gladiators taking up, going to Appalachia on this Thursday night, but let's get into the GITV top 20.
A lot to talk about with that Appalachia game for sure, but yeah, the top 20 for sure. I'll let you start off, and I'll give my opinions. How about that?
Why don't we start with 20 and go backwards? Of course, okay. Richmond Hill making their first appearance at number 20. Glen Academy still in there at number 19. Northgate, good team out of Coweta County at 18. Stevenson and Clarke Central coming in at 16.
Yeah, Clarke's rebounding great.
Big win.
And big win against Loganville, a foe that presents a lot of problems for us traditionally. I thought Clarke came out and made a strong statement, and it's good to see that defense starting to swarm around again.
Definitely played very well. Of course, 15 through 11, Cedar Shoals at number 15, Whitewater, Bainbridge, Ware County Gators at number 12, and, of course, Kell Longhorns in there at number 11, Buster.
Yeah, it's Cedar with the two losses. Those two losses to the number 9 and 10 teams, Flowery Branch and Heritage. Cedar shows I think they've played respectably in both games.
Definitely, no doubt about it.
But no doubt, I think that's a great 20 through 11.
Okay, so that's going to give us right there two teams already in 8-5A. Mm-hmm. And, of course, number 10, Heritage, number 9, Flowery Branch, number 8, Allatoona, and number 7, East Paulding, and number 6, Warner Robins, with two more teams from 8-5A.
Again, a lot of household names in that bunch, and East Paulding, again, seems like they're starting off strong. Don't know if they've really played anybody yet. Allatoona is well up around in them parts. They seem to be making a strong statement as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that might be the region we're playing in the playoffs this year, East Paulding in that bunch.
I was looking at some projections the other day that Clarke Central, if it ended right now, would end up being playing East Paulding.
Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to get those boys back?
No doubt about it. Number 5 through number 1, of course, is just the who's who. Yeah. So ML King at number 5. Defending state champs in 4A, Tucker at number 4. Gainesville out of Region 8-5A, number 3. Thomas County Central, number 2. And, of course, number 1, Northside Warner Robins.
Northside ranked 35th nationally now in a lot of polls. And a lot of the pollsters just don't think Tucker's playing their best ball, even though they're 4-0. They think they're holding back a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think Thomas County and Gainesville well-deserved in those top 3 spots.
And, of course, let's go right into the 8-5A region standings, of course. Big change from where we were a week or two ago. Yeah. Clarke Central and Flowery Branch were both down there at the bottom. Right. But now coming in, we've got 4 teams tied at number 1, but we're going to start off at number 6. And we've got 4 teams also tied there. Winder Barrow at 0-2. Tough loss last week to Salem. Mm-hmm. Loganville, of course, lost to us and Flowery Branch. Cedar Shoals has lost to Heritage the week before. Appalachia lost to Gainesville. Big loss there, 62-20.
Yeah, of all them scores, the two that blow my mind most is how close Winder Barrow came to ending the losing streak. Exactly. And I've been saying to everybody, they're the scariest team in this region right now because they're going to win again. Yeah. But the way Appalachia got just manhandled up in Gainesville, that really raised my eyebrows.
It was a shock to think that Appalachia could give up 62 points to anybody. Just absolutely blows my mind, and a little scary to think about that Gainesville team.
Yeah, I mean they were 49-0 at half. Yeah, and I mean just an incredible machine, that Red Elephant machine up there in Hall County.
So the only team coming in at 1-1, of course, the Salem Seminoles, who beat Winder Barrow 22-20 last week, and then the number 1 is 4 teams tied in the number 1 position, all at 1-0 in the region. Of course, Clarke Central's 1-0. The rest of them are 2-0. Mm-hmm. Heritage, Flowery Branch, Gainesville, and Clarke Central all undefeated right now.
And all 4 teams in the top 20 in the state. And, I mean, you had mentioned before what the Maxwell people said about this region. Yeah. That we were probably the toughest in 5A ball.
In 5A is ranked Maxwell ratings has it ranked number 1 hardest region in 8-5A.
That's crazy.
Absolutely, just says a lot about playing every week.
Well, and because of what we just looked at, those region standings, we're going to see people leapfrog week after week. If you don't bring your A game, you're going down. Because this place is like the SEC. Everybody chops each other up.
No doubt about it. So some of the games that we want to talk about before we get back into Region 8-5A, some of the area games that we want to talk about right now. Prince Avenue at 4-0 taking on Coach Brooks over at Athens Christian, coming in at 1-3, Buster.
Series tied at 3 games apiece, so I guess it's a rubber match type game. But the Prince Avenue offense doing it again like they did last year, putting up 42 points a game.
Yeah.
And the scary part for Athens Christian, they're giving up nearly 30.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty good for the Wolverines to probably march on to another victory and go to 5-0.
No doubt about it.
And I love Brooks.
And he had, that was a tough loss that he had. I mean, he had every chance in the world to win last week and was not able to get the job done. So he's got it going. And that was a larger school they were playing, too.
Well, and one big question mark about that Prince Avenue team when this season started, they let go 4 real good players that I think North Oconee benefited from.
No doubt.
And there was a lot of question marks. Can they play without these guys?
Yeah.
Well, they're answering those questions.
Yeah, they've got the depth over there in 8 single A.
Exactly.
Number 2 game, of course, Lanier at 3-1. This is going to be a good ball game over at Lanier. Monroe area is really putting up some points this year.
Wow. First ever meeting between the two schools, and Lanier, they're sticking their chest out a little bit at 3-1, but I'm going to tell you what, that's an offensive machine that's wearing those purple jerseys over there in Walton County that go by the name of Monroe area. And I think Lanier's got their hands full. Even though they've just been allowing 12 points per contest this year, I don't think they've seen an offense like what they're going to see Friday.
Well, Monroe is really putting up some points week in and week out. I know they put it all over Oconee earlier in the year and
beat Loganville opening night. 50-0 or 50-7. But yeah, these guys are for real, and that'd be a great game to tune in to see if Monroe's for real. Stout Lanier defense, but I think Monroe too much offense.
Then North Oconee, of course, their only loss is to St. Pius. Traveling over to Jackson County to take on a much improved Jackson County, 3-1 with a big emotional win last week over East Jackson, first ever.
Out of all the games this week that look like there may be a trap game here, I think this could be it. North Oconee, they love to run that score up. They love to get big points right out of the gate, but Jackson County can score with them. They're at home. Home field means a lot in these type of things, and I think that's going to be a game to watch. Oconee's averaging 35 points a game. Jackson County's averaging 28, just a touchdown behind them, and both teams giving up 16 points each per contest. That's as even as it gets.
Yeah, that says a lot, doesn't it? It says a lot. And then our 4th area game we want to talk about, of course, Athens Academy. Coach Gunn over there doing a good job once again, traveling up to Lakeview Academy. Lakeview at 2-1, and Athens Academy coming in at 3-0.
Yeah, I had to do some research, and I found out Lakeview is actually located in Sugar Hill. Mm-hmm. I guess that's around Hall County. I'm not positive. But both teams, great defenses, allowing less than 2 scores per contest. But, again, Athens Academy and Lakeview's dead even, averaging 31 points apiece per game. Another game like North Oconee and Jackson County could go either way. That's going to be a good one to watch.
Now, of course, with those area games, we invite everybody to go out and check out your local high schools and take in some Friday night football. It's a wonderful thing. So also we want to get in now to our 8-5A games of the week. Of course, number 10 in the state, Heritage, at 4-0. Traveling up to Gainesville, number 3 in the state. They're 3-1. Their only loss is to West Forsyth, 6A school. So this ought to be a tremendous ball game.
Well, and we just said it. It's like the SEC. They're going to eventually start beating each other up. Well, here's one of those beat-up games right now.
Yeah.
Heritage, and we got to give those guys credit for the last 2 years running. One of the better defensive ball clubs I've seen.
No doubt. We scored 14 points on them early last year and was not able to hold on and lost the ball game 21-14.
And needed a defensive touchdown to get that many on them.
Yeah.
And their defense this year only allowing 5 points per game. But I'm going to tell you what, that Gainesville bunch, they love to run that hurry-up offense. They love to get out of the chute early. They don't need much time to score. If Heritage has any kind of chance being on the road to win this game, and we know that Heritage does not play well on the road,
right,
they're going to have to control the clock, control the ball, and keep Gainesville's offense off the field.
Yeah.
That's going to be their best defensive attack.
That quarterback up there, Gainesville, signed, I think he's
Deshaun Watson.
Committed to Clemson, and he's the real deal.
He is. He's just a pleasure to watch if you're a football fan, just to watch how he does it with such ease.
Yeah.
And he's only a junior.
Now, our next game, of course, Flowery Branch is traveling to Salem. Salem at 2-2, and Flowery Branch at 2-2. But Flowery Branch's losses are to Northside, Warner Robins, and to West Forsyth, 2-0 in the region. I was really surprised with the Salem score last week, and
I can't understand how they struggled with Wind the Barrow. I mean, it's good that they got the win. I'm sure they'll build on that. But, man, if you can allow that many points off Wind the Barrow, you got an offensive machine coming to Rockdale County this week with Flowery Branch, and those birds are flying high after a big win off Loganville.
And no doubt, and that just shows you can't look past anybody. I mean, Wind the Barrow, if you tried to look past them, they almost got you.
If there's one silver lining in the cloud, I don't think Flowery Branch's defense is as stout this year as it may have been in years past. That might give Salem an opportunity, but you're going to have to keep up with their offense to have a chance.
Then next game, of course, number 15, Cedar Shoals at 2-2, traveling to Loganville, which is going to be a tough one playing at Loganville, 1-3.
Series tied at 5 games apiece, and Chuck, if I remember right, these guys were playing last year when me and you were riding back from someplace on the road, and we listened to that game go back and forth the entire fourth quarter, and I think it got settled by a field goal. So this will be a very competitive game. Cedar's got something to prove now after 2 losses in a row. Loganville's got something to prove after 2 losses in a row, and this is going to be one of those man-up games that somebody's got to just strap them on tight and say, hey, we got to get after it, or our season could be going down the drain after this game.
No doubt about it. This is both teams. It's a big game for both teams. Both of them need a win in the region.
In the region, you don't want to go 0-3
no doubt
and try to hope for a bunch of help to get back into things.
No doubt about it. And, of course, our GITV game of the week is going to be Thursday night on WSB, Play It on Sports, GHSA, Georgia Public Broadcasting. You're going to be able to pick it up on the internet. You're going to be able to pick it up on WSB on Charter Cable on channel 126 and Comcast channel 248. Of course, a live stream on the internet at GHSA.TV. Play It on Sports. With all that's going on at Appalachia this week, and the broadcast, of course, kind of knocked GITV out of the airwaves over there. So we're not going to be able to bring you the game, but all you people that are wanting to tune in there on GITV, there are plenty of places to watch it. Charter.
And I want to make sure everybody knows we really wanted to go. We wanted to make it happen, but the press box, there just was not going to be enough space. WSB is bringing this tremendous amount of folks in there to bring this thing live, but we want you to know that you're probably going to enjoy DJ Shockley calling the game. He's been doing real well with the games he has called this year, and we're going to support our Gladiators. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to enjoy it in the comfort of my living room.
There you go.
I don't mean that in a bad way, but I want to watch my Gladiators on my widescreen in my living room.
So the GITV game of the week is going to be number 16 Clarke Central as we travel over to Barrow County to take on the Appalachia Wildcats. Both teams coming in at 1-2.
Right.
Gladiators losses to Central Gwinnett, and of course to Marist, 2 tough teams out of 4A and 6A. The Gladiators lead this series 3-1, and tough place to play though.
tough place to play. And the last 3 games that Clarke and Appalachia's played, Appalachia has scored at least 3 touchdowns on Clarke Central. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be a piece of cake. But one stat that stuck out to me the most this year when you look at the 2 teams, Clarke scoring an average of 31 points a game and the Chi giving up 31 points per game. So it's going to be Clarke's offense and Appalachia's defense, I think, in this game that determines how this thing
Yeah,
plays.
and Appalachia's been averaging, 20.7 points a game. And, of course, the Gladiators are giving up 27 points per game.
Right,
So
yeah. It's even. And,
it's
but
very even.
It was a war last year, and I don't think it'll be anything less this year. With the TV and the hype and everything, boys get up for that.
Oh, there's no doubt. The Gladiators coming in at 1-0 in the region, and Appalachia at 0-1. So both teams have had their bye week, and both teams need a win in the region to keep pace.
Yeah, I think it'll be a slobber knocker, no doubt.
So once again, the 5th meeting between these 2 schools. Gladiators lead the series 3-1, and of course that is going to be Thursday night, not Friday night this week on WSB, on Charter Channel 126, and Comcast Channel 248, and of course live streaming on the internet at ghsa.tv. And we're really looking forward to it. So once again, that's a 7:30 start on one of those stations. And now we want to get into the GITV top 4 headlines of the week. And Buster, I'm going to let you take it over here.
We'll alternate. I'll do number 4 and you do number 3, and we'll just do it that way.
All right.
Top story of the week, number 4, Falcons dominate Loganville. The Branch outscored them 47-14, and I think that was a game that was kind of close for a quarter, but Flowery Branch definitely back on track after losing their first 2 games, and I don't think anybody's going to look past the Branch.
No, not at all. Not at all. And the number 3 GITV news spot is the Red Elephants pounding the Chi. Of course, Gainesville exploded for 49 first-half points and 62 points overall to win the ball game in a 62-20 rout over Appalachia, which absolutely really surprised me.
Still scratching my head on that, and I watched it, and I still couldn't believe what I was saying, but good job for Gainesville.
I'm going to go ahead and take the number 2 game, let you have it.
Go
number
ahead.
1 game.
All
Of course, the number 2 game, number 2 GITV Daily News was the Winder Barrow losing another heartbreaker, 22-20. The Bulldogs' losing streak now at 27 games. And, boy, it would have been an exciting place over in Winder for them to get that win.
Well, and their fans. They got some of the most loyal fans we've ever seen. They always come to the game strong. And I think last year had like 65 cheerleaders on the track. I mean, they support their school, and they're hurting for a win.
Yeah.
And the number 1 story, I think, that caught everybody by a little bit of surprise, Cedar's kind of on the comeback trail, went up to Conyers, but Heritage blanked the Jaguars 21-0. The biggest stat of that game was the big running back, Cedar Show's running back, Washington, held to 53 yards. And that's the kind of effort that Heritage is going to need this week against Gainesville.
No doubt about it. Washington is a wonderful tailback. He's a big, strong runner, and to shut down Cedar Shoals, that's what you got to do.
Well, good job by Heritage, and good job for all the region teams that won last week. And now, my favorite part of the show, the Clarke Central GITV Players of the Week. And we do have an addition this week. In addition to the offense and defense Players of the Week, we have our first ever Clarke Central Scholar Player of the Month. But starting off with offense, I'm going to let you read it out.
Well, this week's Clarke Central GITV Offensive Player of the Week is Cameron Johnson, quarterback for the Gladiators, who had a wonderful game. Once again, really showing some form and taking hold. And
I think he completed his first 7 passes in a row.
Yeah, definitely. And the leadership he portrays out on the field is tremendous as a junior.
And Cameron's just a joy to watch. We've watched him grow up right in front of our eyes since he was a sophomore, and he's your leader on offense, no doubt. Go ahead.
Of course, I'm going to turn it over to you. Of course, the Defensive Player of the Week. What can you say? The play that it was just tremendous ball.
Well, and the play that he made, we're talking about DeMond Stovall, the defensive lineman. It made the Play on Sports National Play of the Week, and that's all the networks combined: Texas, California, Ohio, and DeMond was number 1 out of that whole bunch. We give a big shout to him as our defensive player of the week, scoring that touchdown from 31 yards out. Rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. It was just great.
It was a tremendous play, and of course we talked about it on the Coach Riles show. You don't really appreciate how good a play it was until you slow it down and really watch his pursuit stop.
The way he played.
And he read that play, backpedaled, got in position, made the catch, let alone the rest of it.
And I'm telling you, what makes him such a great athlete on that field, Chuck, he wrestles.
Yeah.
And he's so nimble, and he's so good with them hands. And I think the wrestling sport helps him so much in football.
There's no doubt, and it helps the entire football program. There's no doubt. And of course, Buster, our GITV Scholar Player of the Month.
Yeah, our fullback Denzel Maxey. Denzel, according to Coach Paulson, he does it all. He shows up to class on time. He's got high grades, high marks. Never complains. Does his job, and he brings the whole team up a notch, as according to Coach Paulson. And our Scholar Player of the Month, which we'll have 2 more to give out for the season over. But the first one, fullback Denzel Maxey, great job.
Congratulations, Denzel and Demond and Cameron this week on all your accomplishments on the field and off the field, and really proud of Denzel and what he's doing in the classroom, his leadership. He's come a long way on the ball field also.
Absolutely, doing great.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us this week on the GITV Football Forecast Show. Of course, once again, Thursday night at 7:30 on GHSA.TV. You can pick up the Gladiators, or on Comcast at 248, channel 248, or Charter on channel 126. Of course, last week Appalachia lost to Gainesville 62-20. The Gladiators had a bye week and had their first region win the week before over Loganville 40-6. So for Buster Crumpton, I'm Chuck Wegman. We say thank you, and we want to thank our sponsors, Bulldog Signs, Athens Chevrolet, the Morris Center, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
So long, everybody.